Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-tackling a question that a lot of you have probably asked yourselves. How much car can I actually afford? It's so easy to walk onto a dealership lot, fall in love with a car, and get swept up in the excitement. But before you know it, you could be signing up for a monthly payment that puts a serious strain on your finances. So, let's pump the brakes a little and break down how to figure out a smart, affordable car payment based on your income. This isn't about crushing your dreams. It's about making them a reality in a way that doesn't stress you out every month. First things first, let's talk about the golden rules of car buying. You've probably heard a few of these floating around, and for good reason. The most popular one is the 24-10 rule. Let's unpack what that means. The 20 stands for a 20% down payment. Putting down a good chunk of cash up front is a game changer. It reduces the amount you need to finance, which means a lower monthly payment and less interest paid over the life of the loan. It also helps you avoid being upside down on your loan, which is when you owe more on the car than it's actually worth. Next up is the 4, which represents a loan term of no more than 4 years or 48 months. I know, dealerships love to offer those 6, 7, or even 8-year loans because they make the monthly payment look so temptingly low. But think about it. A longer loan means you're paying interest for a much longer time. The total cost of the car skyrockets. Plus, by year 6 or 7, your car will likely be out of warranty, and major repairs might start popping up, all while you're still making payments on it. Sticking to a 4-year term helps you pay off the car faster and saves you a ton of money in the long run. Finally, we have the 10. This is the most crucial part for our discussion today. The 10% rule means your total monthly car expenses, and this is key, total expenses, should not exceed 10% of your gross monthly income. That's your income before taxes are taken out. Notice I said total car expenses, not just the car payment. This is where a lot of people get tripped up. The sticker price is just the beginning. So, what's included in that 10%? It's your monthly car payment, of course, but you also have to factor in car insurance and an estimate for fuel and maintenance. Car insurance can be a huge variable, especially for younger drivers or if you're buying a sports car. Before you even think about buying a specific model, get some insurance quotes. You might be shocked at the difference between insuring a sensible sedan versus a flashy coupe. Then there's gas. How much do you drive? What's the fuel economy of the car you're looking at? If you have a long commute, a gas guzzler will eat into your budget every single month. And finally, maintenance. Even new cars need oil changes, tire rotations, and eventually new tires and brakes. Older cars? The potential for repairs is even higher. A good rule of thumb is to set aside at least $50 to $100 a month for maintenance and unexpected repairs. When you add all these up, payment, insurance, fuel, and maintenance, that total should ideally be under that 10% mark. Okay, let's make this real with some numbers. Let's say you make $50,000 a year. To find your gross monthly income, you divide that by 12, which gives you about $4,167 a month. 10% of that is $417. So, according to the 10% rule, your total monthly transportation cost should be at or below $417. Let's see how that breaks down. Maybe your insurance quote is $120 a month. You estimate you'll spend about $150 on gas. And you want to be safe, so you set aside $50 for maintenance. That adds up to $320. So, you subtract that $320 from your total budget of $417. That leaves you with just $97 for the actual car payment. Suddenly, that brand new SUV doesn't seem so feasible, right? This is a really conservative approach, and for many people, it's a wake-up call. Now, you might be thinking, 10%? That's impossible where I live. And you're not wrong. The 24-10 rule is a fantastic guideline for financial security, but it can be tough to stick to, especially for those with lower incomes or in high cost of living areas. So, let's talk about a more flexible, but still responsible, alternative, the 15% rule. This rule says your car payment alone should not exceed 15% of your take-home pay. Take-home pay, or net income, is the money you actually have in your bank account after taxes, health insurance, and retirement contributions are deducted. This number is more realistic for day-to-day budgeting. Let's go back to our example of a $50,000 annual salary. After taxes and other deductions, your monthly take-home pay might be closer to, say, $3,200. 15% of $3,200 is $480. This gives you a maximum monthly car payment of $480. This figure doesn't include insurance, gas, and maintenance, so you still need to budget for those separately, but it gives you a bit more breathing room for the payment itself. Using this 15% rule, a $480 payment on a 48-month loan with a decent interest rate, say 5%, means you could afford a car with a total price of around $21,000 after your down payment. That opens up a lot of great options, including many excellent certified pre-owned vehicles or even some new entry-level cars. So, which rule is right for you? The 10% of gross income rule is the safest path. If you can follow it, you'll be in a fantastic financial position. You'll have plenty of cash left over for other goals, like saving for a house, investing, or traveling. You'll likely never feel car poor, where your vehicle is draining all your disposable income. The 15% of net income rule is a more moderate approach. It acknowledges that for many, a car is a necessity, and the super strict 10% rule might not be practical. It still provides a solid guardrail to prevent you from overspending, but gives you more flexibility. If you go this route, you just have to be extra diligent about budgeting for those other car-related costs separately. So, how do you put this into practice? Step 1. Calculate your income. Know your gross monthly income and your net monthly take-home pay. Don't guess. Look at your pay stubs. Step 2. Create a full budget. You need to know where all your money is going: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, student loans, entertainment. You can't decide on a car payment in a vacuum. Maybe you're a homebody who doesn't spend much on going out. In that case, you might be able to comfortably allocate a bit more towards your car. But if you don't track your spending, you're just flying blind. Step 3. Get pre-approved for a loan before you go to the dealership. This is a huge tip. Shopping for a loan from your local bank or credit union will almost always get you a better interest rate than what the dealership offers initially. It also tells you exactly how much you can borrow. This puts you in the driver's seat during negotiations. You can walk in and say, "I'm a cash buyer up to this amount," which is a powerful position to be in. Step 4. Don't forget the down payment. Start saving now. The bigger the down payment, the better off you'll be. Aim for that 20% if you can. If you have a car to trade in, that can act as part of your down payment, but be sure to research its value beforehand so you know you're getting a fair deal. And finally, step 5. Be realistic and patient. Your first car doesn't have to be your dream car. It needs to be reliable, safe, and affordable. The goal is to get a car that serves your needs without compromising your financial future. There's nothing wrong with buying a used car. In fact, it's often the smartest financial move, since you let someone else take the biggest hit on depreciation. A car is a tool, but it's also an expense, a rapidly depreciating one at that. By using the 10 or 15% rules, creating a detailed budget, and getting pre-approved for a loan, you're not just buying a car, you're making a smart financial decision. You're ensuring that your new set of wheels gives you freedom, not a financial burden. Don't let a salesperson pressure you into a payment that makes you sweat. Know your numbers, stick to your budget, and drive away happy and confident. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this breakdown helps you on your car buying journey. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on managing your money and making smart decisions. Let me know in the comments which rule you prefer, or if you have any other car buying tips to share. See you in the next one.